Firstly, NASA, thank you for having me today. To your question on hydrocarbons, my personal opinion is that this does need to be an and. We must continue to be investing in hydrocarbons that serve the energy of today, whilst we seek to de-risk and then scale the opportunities for the energy ecosystem for the future. We have to remember that there is about $250 trillion that are invested in today's energy infrastructure. And so we must continue to find ways through technology, through investments to ensure that we have a robust pipeline to build those energy decarbonised products for the future.
زوي، هل لك أن تضعين في صورة مستهدفات شل في الوصول إلى صافي صفر انبعاثات بحلول عام 2050؟ وما هي الأهداف المرحلية التي وضعتموها على هذا الطريق؟
Yeah, so Shell has for many years now had at the cornerstone of its strategy the approach to decarbonisation. A big part of this is firstly accepting that there is a need for us to ensure that we can comply with the Paris goal of 1.5 degrees, and that requires that we have significant efforts within our organisation around delivering net zero. For Shell specifically, we have a target that commits to net zero by 2050, but what's really important to highlight is this is not just what we call scope 1 and 2, which are those emissions directly connected to our assets, but it's also scope 3 emissions, which are those emissions generated by the customers that we sell our products to. So an incredibly ambitious opportunity. But importantly, we don't just think about 2050 as something that we can wait and see and do something later. We have some real tangible delivery points that we're doing today. By 2030, we've committed to a 50% reduction in scope 1 and 2, and we see that our progress since we've announced our targets has been considerable, despite, broadly speaking, the world moving in the other direction. But there's another point that I think really worth emphasising, and I think it's important whilst we're in a region like MENA or in the UAE, is that those companies with significant upstream development or upstream resources are the ones I believe that will be most successful in the energy transition.
لما لا تعطينا لقطة عامة على أعمال شل في منطقتنا تحديدا في قطاع المنبع، وأين تجدون فرص تنمية شراكاتكم في منطقتنا مستقبلا؟
Yeah, so Shell has many projects and partnerships that we have in the MENA region. We have a long-standing relationship with the ADNOC gas processing company, where we produce, in partnership with ADNOC, 75% of the natural gas in the UAE. We've also had a long established relationship in Oman with PDO, which we've also recently extended into Block 11, which is a gas development. And we also work in Egypt, both associated with the creation of gas in LNG supply. So we have lots of things that we have underway. But I think also important to say that we see MENA as being a hub of opportunity around integrated decarbonisation of energy. And this is where I think we see Shell's strategy entirely aligned with those that we see, for example, in Dr. Sultan's vision that he talked about this morning at the conference for ADNOC. So some significant alignment about decarbonising of our energy.
ما هي توقعاتكم لوجهة أسواق الطاقة على المدى القصير إلى المتوسط في ظل كل هذه العوامل المتغيرة التي نشهدها مؤخراً؟
Goodness, if you think through the question on energy markets, it's a pretty volatile time. Our industry in many respects is used to volatility. We're a cyclical industry. We're normally used to facing sort of some peaks and troughs. But I think it's fair to say in recent times that has been amplified to a level that I think we really haven't experienced before. It's sometimes easy to forget that today's conversation tends to be very much one around gas, and it tends to be very much a conversation, if you're in Europe, about a gas crisis and an affordability challenge within many countries. And what we try and also remember is that the energy transition is going to take place at different paces in different places. And so we work in investments in Malaysia or Brazil or in Oman or UAE, recognising that there is a different curve through which these markets are naturally going to follow. But a volatile time, I think it's fair to say we're in for significant volatility to come as well.